everyone. I would like to welcome you to the Keith Andrew Network. And oh my goodness, I am so proud to be here myself because I have not seen him in 7 years. And in 7 years, this is a wonderful network to be a part of. And he is still here doing his thing. You know, only thing I want to say is even with a disability, you can do anything that you want to do. I mean, look at Keith. He has this fantastic network. He interviews so many people. I mean, I wasn't interviewed it was like 7 years ago. And look, I'm here today on the Keith Andrew Network being interviewed again. Try it out, guys. This network is just awesome. He's doing wonderful things. Oh my goodness, I am so happy and pleased that he's still here doing his stuff.
Keith Andrew, and then you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. This is episode 758. That's right, 758. I'm here with Virginia Wiggins. It's great to have you as a guest once again. Thank you for joining us. And what a 7.5-year anniversary, because we were on season 1 when I first started.
Oh my goodness, you have came a long way and I'm so proud of you. So it's nice seeing you again. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. 750, what was it again?
58.
Wow. And I was on the first one. So
Yeah.
This is awesome. You are doing wonderful things and I am happy to be here once again.
No, the honor is all mine. And if you remember, I didn't want to be seen. So as this may work or may not work, depends on, look at that works. As you see my reflection on the screen, that's what they only show you. And I didn't want to be seen, long story short.
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
And if you also remember, my catchphrase was, don't ask me why, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Turning myself into an example for people deaf, blind, or in a wheelchair. Of course, I got criticized saying, you're a hypocrite, saying you're not an inspiration because you're not deaf, you're not blind, and you're sure as hell not in a wheelchair.
Oh,
so how can you be an inspiration? So I changed my expression. So if you lost and I don't call myself uncensored anymore.
Right. Oh my goodness. People can be so hypocritical when they don't even know, That's just ridiculous.
Hey, go ahead.
No, I just think that's ridiculous how people could, just judge something that they don't even know.
It's true. You can't fix stupid, but you can numb it with a 2x4.
Absolutely. I agree to that.
Oh, absolutely. And what's do? Usually, I ask about quarantine. What's changing up? When I first approach, usually I ask you at the very end, but I'm going to ask you in the beginning.
Yes.
So when I want you to be brutally honest. Don't forget, I'm going to ask you this at the very end. When I first approached you, the very first time. Don't remember the month. It was in 2013 when I approached you the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
What was your honest reaction, and what made you say yes?
I thought, here's a guy that's trying to build a platform for himself at that time, and I remember I don't know if you remember, but when you approached me about it, I remember telling you, oh my goodness, I want to do this same thing. I said, this is so cool that you're interviewing different people and, trying to, find out their different backgrounds and things like that. And I told you, I think you're doing an awesome job because I want to do this, what you're doing. And then you were like, yeah, you can do it. You did motivate me. You said, you can do this as well. So that was my first thing. I just thought it was motivational for me that you were doing this and you're still doing it. You're still doing bigger and better things. I think it's just awesome. You keep up with your craft and you can just explore and fulfill your dreams. So my first instinct was, you know what, I want to be like this guy. That's really what it was. Mm-hmm.
No, I agree, and I still encourage you. If you have the heart and passion, you can do anything you like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just think this is awesome that you're still here, and we met in 2013. You're still doing it. And I think that's great.
No, absolutely. This is what I want to do to the day I die. But
Yeah.
a lot of people always hear that, but this is not about me. This is about you. So the first
Yes.
question I want to ask is, tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you came to do what you do now.
So I am from California. I was born in Florida, but then my, stepfather was in the military, so we traveled a lot. And then later on down the line, I ended up in California for years. So I am a Californian. And I became an actress when I went to California. So I worked on different, television shows. I may have done some background work. Well, to start off, that's how I started doing background work. And then how I kind of like got into professional acting. I was in this movie Collateral Damage with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's how I became in the union for actors. So I've been acting for so long in, California, just doing odd stuff. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do my acting, but I'm also going to go to college just to have something to fall back on. With acting, you need something to fall back on. So I became, I went to college, got a master's in psychology. And so I just enjoyed working with children as well. So I was kind of like doing both, working in the acting field. Then I was working at like a boys group home as a supervisor, helping, kids who are in gangs and things like that. So, oh my goodness, I really love, helping people and working with people. But acting is like number one as well. So I moved to Virginia since then. I've probably been here almost 2 years now, something like that to that effect. And I became a teacher out here in Virginia. But I still go to New York for my acting thing, stuff. So for auditioning and things like that, I have to go to New York. And I did a few TV shows in New York. Before the pandemic, I did some things. And before the pandemic, I also worked on a movie out here. It's called Mirrors. And, that should be coming out soon as well. But, I've been trying to keep myself busy in the acting world and, working with people as well. Right now, my teaching is on pause because of the pandemic. So I'm not really doing that right now because I have 2 kids at home, and the pandemic kind of broke out in my department, and I'm so happy that I wasn't there. So it's really bad, but it's been really, really hectic, trying to get these jobs back together because of this pandemic situation.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, I'm going to ask you about social media and a couple more hard-hitting questions when we come back.
I'm Jenny Fine.
Hi, it's Mimi Chen.
Hi, my name is Ellen George.
Miss Shauna Toth.
Hey guys, I'm Anastasia Edwards.
Hi, this is Jackie Nunez.
Hi, I'm Amelia Rose.
Hi
Guys, I'm Alexandria Denise, and you're watching Keith Andrew's show. He's doing a terrific job. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more awesomeness.
Welcome to Commercial. I'm your host, Keith Andrew. Now, the first thing I want to talk to you about, it's collateral, because I always heard the name collateral damage.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And now, were you a supporting actor? Were you a background actor?
I was a background actor, but it was also supporting as well because what I was doing, we were FBI agents. So I think the scene was this something blew up in the scene. Someone put a bomb in the building. So we were kind of like working very close to Arnold Schwarzenegger as FBI agents. So we had to, it was a really good scene that got me into the Screen Actors Guild. It was a very good scene. So I was so happy. It was so weird because one day, I think I was on this set for almost a week. And one day I scratched my cornea. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go back, because it was an important scene. Like it was, us playing as FBI agents. It was really good. It featured us a lot. And oh my goodness, I could not believe I scratched my cornea. So I had to try my best I just went back and my eyes were burning the whole day. Well, this eye was burning the whole day. I was very determined to finish my scenes, and it was really good. It was really good.
And what was like, obviously you were on the same set. Did he have time to sit down with Arnold? Did he talk to him?
Oh, let me tell you about that. So he had like a stalker on the set, and it was some woman stalking him. And so Arnold, he stood next to me. And I was so hot, like I was just really, really hot. And I kept doing this like, oh my goodness. So he looks at me, he goes, why don't you take off your jacket? You know how he talks, take off your jacket. So I was like, oh yeah, I should take off my jacket because it is really hot in here. And he said, yeah, you're working on a set, there's a lot of lights and everything. So that's why you get so hot. So I took off my jacket. I decided to walk outside. So this AD, this director, she ran behind me and they don't want really anyone talking to him, I guess, because of this stalker. They never know who else is stalking him or what have you. So she goes, can you not talk to him? Because I said, excuse me, he talked to me first. So when someone talks to you first, don't you speak back?
Right. I mean, it's common sense.
Yeah. So I was like, he was talking to me. He told me to take off my jacket because it was so hot, So that's what I did. But he was he was a nice guy. Very, very nice to work with.
Oh, absolutely. Gabriel Iglesias actually did a little skit about when he met him. He's standing in line. I can do the expression, but it's pretty bad. Like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. Oh, what strong arms you have. Oh, and
you sound just like him.
And
wow.
Not to interrupt. I do apologize.
That's okay. That's good. No, I was saying that's really good. You sound like him.
Gabriel actually found out there's a guy behind him. He taps him on the arm, Arnold. He says, okay, then move on to the next one, move on to the next one. And Gabriel's like, oh, I know what you're doing. I want to see him. So he's tapping him faster and faster. Like,
wow.
Oh, nice to meet you. I don't know. Next person. Oh, so nice to meet you. Oh,
wow.
When it came to the Gabriel Iglesias, he says, it is so nice. I know you. You made that joke about the Indian guy. You're so funny. The guy's like, oh, right. So nice to meet you. But he was saying when he gets into conversations, he's like, excuse me. And then he goes to the next person. Yeah, yes, I would like to.
He does. He'll talk to you, then he'll go to the next person and the next person. And I love that about him because he has not forgotten where he came from. He still talks to people because sometimes you may go on these sets and some of the celebrities, they would look at people, and look at them down, instead of talking to them, say hi, just there's nothing wrong with saying hello, or giving a little smile, but they'll look at you like, and I'm going to tell you something about background actors. They are the ones who make the whole scene come true and come alive. Because if it wasn't for background actors, it's not gonna work. You have to have that, So I don't know why they downplay background actors or look at them in such a bad way. I really don't.
No, it's true. I was actually watching Bring It On a while ago. And of course, how they focus on, the Asian girl and the bitchy girl. And it's PG-13, but bitchy's okay. And Kirsten Dunst, and yet I'm looking past Kirsten Dunst, like, why can't she's better looking than Kirsten Dunst. She
Right.
can be the main star. So sometimes the background actors are better looking than the main star and antagonist.
Character. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. I have heard that so many times.
Now,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Yeah, what we gotta say?
No, I was just gonna say you're right. I mean, that has happened plenty of times where you may go on the set and maybe the actor may be intimidated by you, and it's for no reason. Like, why are you intimidated by me? When you have the job, like I'm just here doing my job, because I used to stand in for a lot of actors as well, and then after standing in is like when you prepare for the scene. So while they're getting the lightings, they get the lightings and the camera ready. I would take the actor's place while they're getting their hair and makeup done. So I'm doing their scenes, their lines and everything, doing their, stepping here to there, wherever the marks are. And then when the actor comes back, I may, tell her the new detail. Okay, when you say this line, you have to step over here. So they already got it right with the lightings and everything with me. And they use that person, then the person go and do their scene. But a lot of them some of them are intimidated, which makes no sense because you have your job. I have my job,
No, I agree with you. There was a time where I worked at Toys R Us at Woodbury Commons. I hope they come back. There was a time I worked there, and I noticed all these big lights and tents. And first off, I saw, a radar went off. Oh, opportunity.
Yeah.
And then I went over and I'm like, oh, what are they doing? That's they're filming. Meanwhile, I looked like a deer in the freaking headlights. And I just like, okay, thank you. And I went over.
Yeah.
First thing I did was went over to the people for the tent, introduced myself, and I said, I heard you doing a commercial. Is that possibly a part of it? And the first thing he said was, and I'm going to ask you, are you part of SAGs? And I said, no, I'm not. It said, oh, well, we only work with people with SAGs. And I'm like, oh, reason I came over is because I have a talk show. I have a glare in my glasses, so I don't know why I even have that. And I said, I am a talk show host for people with disabilities. And I was like, wouldn't it be nice if you had someone with disabilities on your set? And
Absolutely.
And then he changed his tone and said, well, you can hang around if you want, but there's no guarantee we're going to use you and you're probably going to get bored. And, it's just like one of those things like, okay, but when I was walking away, I saw a group of people just sitting there. And I went over and I introduced myself. I shook their hands and I gave them my business card. Of course, none of them actually said anything, like good job or what you're doing. But, if you see an opportunity, you're an idiot if you don't take it.
Absolutely.
But I want to ask you, what is the difference between working SAG and non-union?
Okay, so when you work at SAG, you're making more money, first of all. That's number one. And then you have a union that's behind you. So if you work on a set, let's say they didn't feed you for hours. So you have that union to call to say, look, we've been telling them that we're hungry. They have not fed us yet. So they'll have a representative from the Screen Actors Guild come over to see what's going on. How come these SAG members have not eaten anything? When you're non-union, you don't have that representation like you would SAG, I've worked on plenty of sets where SAG people may have steak and, great meals, and the non-union may have like a little turkey sandwich or something, while we have like the more hot meals, and I don't know, like it was a difference. I don't know how they are today because I haven't worked like background in a long time. I've been more concentrating on doing like more speaking roles. But even if you're a regular actor doing speaking roles, we're still in the same union. You're still SAG as well. So they have to be treated well and represented by the union. The union has our back. So that's the difference. Make sure that you're being paid like you're supposed to be paid, because it may be someone that's shady and want to, blackball you. Did I say that right? you know,
Right.
or lowball you, I meant, and give you like a lower salary than what you're supposed to make on the set, and the union to make sure that you're getting the proper treatment, basically. So that's why it's good to be in the union. Definitely, you're going to get paid more. You're going to, the union is going to make sure you're not mistreated. You're treated fairly, so that's a good thing.
No, I agree. And I am for unions. And, while on the subject, I don't know if you heard, but a wrestler actually got fired because she said she supports being unionized. And then so it came along the lines of WWE should be unionized. And she said, I support that. And then they automatically fired her. First off, I think they should be unionized because they do treat people horribly. But
Yes.
it isn't just them, it's other companies too that should be unionized.
Right.
But it is unfortunately what it is. But the last question I want to ask you is, with everything that you've seen of mine, do you think I would benefit from working with SAG, number one? And do they have other divisions within SAG?
Yeah, you would definitely benefit working, in like Screen Actor movies that's within the Screen Actors Guild, movies, TV shows, anything. Definitely, when we see people working in a Screen Actors Guild, they work with all people. Like I had someone say, you probably got a little too old to act. You're never too old to act. They hire people who are young, old, people with disabilities. Because you want the real life stories that you see on television, you know what I mean? Or if you see something on a TV show, you want to see real life stuff. You want to see people with disabilities do things as well. And there's so many people with disabilities that are on television right now. And I think that's awesome. So you would definitely benefit. Definitely. You can do some things.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the last question I want to ask you is, the first one is, do you have any success stories?
Success stories. Let me see. Well, I can tell you this. I've been with the Screen Actors Guild since 2002. So for so long.
18 years.
Yeah, that was always a success story for me, just making it into the Screen Actors Guild, doing different projects and things like that. So that's one. But for now, I've always wanted to start a podcast. And I love talking about relationships because, people always go through different things in relationships. So I got this podcast called Relationship Q&A with Virginia Wiggins. And so that's what I'm working on right now. To me, that's a success story because it's something I always wanted to do, but I just never done it. So I just kind of like started that. So I'm happy for that.
No, congrats.
Well, yeah, I like helping people through different things. People go through ups and downs in relationships, and it's really hard. And I just want them to know that they can keep a healthier life, have a healthier life instead of being stressed on bad relationships, basically.
I hear you. And that's good. That's how it should be. Be the best version of yourself, because at the end of the day, you are your own worst enemy.
Oh, absolutely. That is so true. Like you said, earlier, helping one another, that's the best way to go. Because, I might see what someone else doesn't see, and I can probably help that person with whatever challenges that they have, or they can help me too. You know, we help each other. That's what we do.
And remember, we all start at the same place. So no
Yeah.
one's different. Unless you're super rich, and that's completely different.
Oh yeah. Money talks, right?
Money talks and bullshit walks.
Yes, that's the truth. That's the same. Like, people have done so many good things just because they have the money. But there's so many talented people who do not have money, but they just haven't gotten that far because of that, you know? So that's the truth. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Now I do have a couple questions for you off the air. About wrapping up our interview segment, you know, the same question as I asked before. When I approached you to be a guest on the show the second time, I'll even be brutally honest. When I approached you to be a guest on the show the second time, what made you say yes? How did you feel about being on the show for a second time? Would you recommend it? And how can people follow you on social media?
Okay. That's gonna be your next question. Okay, cool. Cool. You want me to answer it now?
Yes.
Oh, so yeah, I felt, well, I just saw you online again, and I saw a few of your interviews, and I'm like, wow, he's doing big things and he's still out there. That is so awesome. So I just wanted to get on with you again, because I just felt like just the second time around getting on the air with you, I think that's awesome. From years ago till now, you can tell that it's just awesome and much of improvement as well. And you're on the air too, so.
No, it's funny to mention that every Saturday, 10:30 in the morning, I'm on the Brooklyn neighborhood of broadcasting.
Wow, that is so cool. That is awesome. Yeah,
No, absolutely.
you're doing big things, and I wanted to really, tell you that too. Like, I've seen some of your interviews, and I'm like, I can't believe I was on the first season, and then just to be on it again years later, that's awesome. Very awesome.
No, I appreciate that. And now I do have a couple questions for you off the air. And don't worry, your Instagram will be on the bottom of the screen so everyone gets to follow you. But
Cool.
Wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And I just want to say thank you for part 2, and I'm looking forward to part 3 down the road.